it's closed, and the restaurants here are closed. Such a scene is for friends who want to do catering this year. You see, a tea restaurant has been closed down. This shop has been empty for 2 to 3 years. For example, this is a late-night snack street. It used to be so bustling. Many catering brands would even choose this location to open their first stores. Many brands still at the top of the must-eat list have gone bankrupt. The rent for a shop here is about 6,000 to 7,000 a month. Back then, it was hard to find a shop here, and the transfer fees were very high. A young man born in the 1980s spent 700,000 to open a barbecue restaurant in Xi'an, but it went bankrupt before it officially opened. I share my bankruptcy experience with everyone to avoid falling into the trap. Many people sent me private messages to the background saying they didn't believe I spent 700,000 renovating this restaurant. My story is a real story, not a fictional story. Let me show you how this 700,000 is spent. We now see this store. There were wooden seats in every corner. The store is 800 square meters in total. Every wooden seat, including tables and chairs, and this wooden decoration are all custom made. This costs nearly 210,000. China's economy continues to deteriorate, and the catering industry is taking the most brutal hit. In the first half of the year, 30,000 noodle restaurants closed, and over 1 million restaurants went bankrupt. Small and medium-sized restaurants can barely maintain their business and have seen their sales shrink significantly. High-end catering brands in first-tier cities such as Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen have also been affected, such as Din Tai Fung, which is famous for providing Michelin-level Xiaolongbao, and the Michelin restaurant Shanhe Wan Duo, which has won multiple awards, etc. Din Tai Fung is one of the world's top 10 gourmet restaurants and a Michelin one-star restaurant with dozens of restaurants worldwide. Its Xiaolongbao is known as the golden 18-fold buns, meaning that each bun has 18 folds, no more and no less. Each bun weighs about 21 grams and can be served after being steamed for 4 minutes. However, Din Tai Fung announced that all 14 stores in the northern region would be closed simultaneously on October 31st. A Beijing netizen invited his friends to eat there before the stores closed. Their overall taste is light, not too salty or greasy, so they're delicious. The shepherd's purse wontons had no highlights, and they were very ordinary, but the skin was very smooth. Why don't I feel like a shepherd's purse? The taro paste buns are so cute. After eating this meal today, my favorite dish is the taro paste bun, which I've been dreaming about for years. The bun lived up to my expectations. It is not too sweet, it has just the slightly sweet taste that Chinese people like the most. And you can tell that the taro paste is freshly ground by the restaurant, not made with taro powder. The man also praised Din Tai Fung's steamed Xiaolongbaos. Today, I came to try the Din Tai Fung Xiaolongbao, which is known as the most expensive in China. The people painted on the wall are all celebrities who have been here. They are too costly, so I eat 2 steamed buns. This is pork xiaolongbao. Oh, this xiaolongbao is really small. I think it's a little bigger than my thumb. It's said that each bun is exactly 18 folds, and the weight difference of each bun is no more than 0.2 grams. It tastes terrific when dipped in this ginger vinegar. The skin of the bun is as thin as paper. Crab xiaolongbao, right? It's so fragrant. This soup has a strong crab roe flavor, and the soup has crab roe flavor. After chewing it, it smells like pork. This one is so cute. It has a crispy texture of shrimp at first, and then the delicious flavor of pork becomes chewy on the inside. It's delicious, but it's too small. I'll eat the vegetables after eating these. A food blogger analyzed Din Tai Fung's closing of its stores because of the current poor economic environment. People's consumption power continues to decline, and they prefer to go to restaurants with good quality and low prices. Din Tai Fung announced that 14 stores in the Northern District will be closed on October 31st. Din Tai Fung is one of our favorite restaurants. When we go to eat Michelin, we have to go to Din Tai Fung. Why is it closing? Let me summarize a few reasons for you. The first is that the competition in catering is too fierce. The current price is $1.40, which is a head-to-head battle. The current price war has led to the deterioration of the competitive environment. The second is the increase in operating costs. Maybe when it opened in mainland China 10 or 20 years ago, the rent and labor costs were relatively low. Now, the fees are too high, the rent has not dropped, and the labor costs are increasing. Din Tai Fung is famous for its excellent service. Its chefs and servers are paid very high wages. It's difficult for such a restaurant to survive too long in such an environment. The first two are minor reasons. In fact, the current market economy is impoverished, which has led to considerable changes in consumers' consumption psychology. So what are they pursuing? What they seek is high quality, low price, authenticity, and reality. In the first half of this year, more than 1 million catering stores closed down, almost catching up with the number for last year and twice the number of canceled catering stores in 2022. Nearly 30,000 registered noodle shops alone have closed. Large catering brands have been affected by the economic slowdown, and the tea drink Nayuki's Tea is expected to lose 58 million to 68 million in the year's first half. The restaurant chain Shabu Shabu lost at least 36 million, and the coffee giant Luckin Coffee, with more than 10,000 stores, also saw profits halve compared to the same period last year. Quenjede is a time-honored brand that has lasted for 159 years. It was once the top roast duck brand, but now it cannot continue its glory. This netizen took his parents to Beijing, Quenjede, to eat roast duck. Let's see what his experience was like. Do you know what taking your parents to Beijing for an authentic Peking roast duck meal is like? This state-level roast duck restaurant has chefs who have cooked for foreign guests. When I entered, the splendid lobby amazed me. We were in the golden lobby on the 4th floor with a luxurious corridor. This was not a court in the palace, but on the way to dinner. The dining hall was still very spacious, and the whole environment was traditional Chinese. As expected, Quenjede, even the menu is grand. It also includes an introduction to each chef who makes roast duck, and you can order it on the spot. The food is served very quickly and with a sense of ceremony. The cold dishes are served first, then the hot dishes, and finally the roast duck. The waiter will introduce each dish. This dish is a must-try. The egg wrapped in shrimp is really delicious. There are also mustard and duck feet. The duck feet are all deboned. Although the name sounds strange, it's pretty delicious. The taste of this mustard makes people a little dizzy. The portions of all dishes are large, so you need to order in moderation. Otherwise, you will feel full before you even get to the authentic Peking duck. The roast duck chef will bring the whole roast Peking duck to the table and cook it for you. The chef sliced the entire roast duck into different parts for plating, and the peony flour plating is a unique creation of Quenjede. One roast duck is divided into 6 plates, and I was shocked by the portion again. The 3 of us couldn't finish it at all. Half a portion would be enough for us. The waiter is very considerate and will show you how to eat it. The duck skin is dipped in sugar, which makes the crispy texture even more fragrant. The lotus leaf wrapped cakes are all freshly made and kept warm in a steamer. The duck rack is also delicious with pepper and salt. After eating the roast duck, there is also dessert. Today's meal is really too full, and there is still a lot left, but we can take them away. After dinner, we can go upstairs to the museum. It turns out that a hotel also has a museum. However, in recent years, Quenjede's golden signboard has been dimmed. Its financial report shows that from 2020 to 2022 alone, it experienced 3 consecutive years of losses totaling nearly 100 million, and 80% of its stores in mainland China have closed. It was not until the first half of this year that the data looked better, with a net profit of 2.76 million. However, the funny thing is that the company's hard work did not earn these profits, but by investment income and government financial support. Quenjede roast duck is not selling well. General Manager Zhou Yanlong launched a comprehensive price reduction strategy, even opened takeout, and canceled the payment of private rooms in the lobby, but it still didn't help. You should know that Quenjede's annual turnover was nearly 276 million at its peak, but now it's facing a severe predicament. If you have been to Qianmen of Beijing, you will notice a strange phenomenon. Many tourists rush to take photos in front of Quenjede roast duck restaurant. Although the entrance is busy, very few diners are entering the restaurant. Who would have thought that this time-honored restaurant would go from being a top-notch restaurant to becoming a backdrop for tourists to take photos? Not only do foreign tourists rarely go to this restaurant for dinner, but locals in Beijing also shake their heads when mentioning this old restaurant, thinking that its roast duck is expensive and not very delicious. Let's take a look at this consumption list. A complete set of roast duck is $40 a piece, and a plate of celery is $9. A bottle of watermelon juice was sold for a high price of $23.50. In addition, there's a 10% service charge for each table. A meal for 4 people will cost nearly $127, and there may not even be enough to eat. With the same money, you can buy 1 roast duck in Chuanju, but you can buy 4 or 5 in other roast duck restaurants. Other restaurants also give away green onions and pancakes for free. At the same time, Chuanju's service attitude is getting worse and worse. Sometimes the waiter accidentally splashes the soup on the customer but does not apologize and leaves. Such service quality also charges a service fee. The price is high and the service is poor. Slowly, consumers no longer buy and consume its brand. Chuanju seemed to realize that it was facing a crisis, but it still focused its publicity on its time-honored brand and talked about how its roast duck was produced in the palace and passed down for a century. It even used the 31 steps of roasting duck as a selling point but ignored the fact that as a restaurant, affordable consumption and enthusiastic service are the keys to continuing its century-old glory.
Look
at this restaurant, which is called Chuanju. Chuanju is famous in Beijing. Usually at this time there should be a lot of people lining up here, but now you can see there is no one. In the second half of 2020, the general manager of Chuanju decided to reduce the prices of dishes by about 10% to reverse the current recession and win back the favor of consumers. More importantly, the criticized service fee was directly cancelled, and even the much-anticipated roast duck set meal was reduced from $41 to $33. Although Chuanju showed a sincere attitude, the results were minimal. The restaurant was also confused. Why couldn't it meet customers' expectations when it had already lowered the price? In fact, the restaurant's current predicament is not entirely its own problem. Its 4 years of losses almost coincide with China's economic downturn timeline. With the economic recession, people are more tight-fisted with their wallets and prefer small shops with good reputations and delicious food. Chuanju is just a wave in the tide of the decline of the mainland catering industry. China's catering industry is divided into civil servants and civilian consumption. Civil servants, mainly officials, usually go to high-end restaurants. But now the CCP authorities are fighting for power in the name of anti-corruption, which scares many officials, and they dare not go to high-end restaurants in public. Moreover, civil servants have had their salaries cut, reduced, or not even paid. This is a major blow to China's high-end catering industry. On the civilian side, after 3 years of epidemic-free lockdown, many people's pockets have been drained. At the same time, housing prices have fallen, people cannot afford to spend money on their houses, and public consumption has been downgraded. This is also one of the reasons for the large number of bankruptcies in China's catering industry. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.